Hey y'all, Bear here. It's Tuesday. I've got a makeshift windsock on my mic. We'll see what that does. Anyways, it's time for some camp meals. I'm hungry, and I thought we would come back and revisit Omeals. That's right, Omeals. I did an Omeal with a head-to-head comparison beef stew a while back, 8 weeks ago. And y'all called me out on some stuff, and I had to go home and think about Omeals. So we're here to revisit Omeals and talk about what I came up with as I thought about it. And y'all were right on some stuff. Alright, so one of you to call me out was Timothy Weiner, I'm not sure, Timothy W. Timothy, you tell me how to pronounce your last name in the comments. So Timothy said, thanks for the great head-to-head comparison. Personally, I would probably add some water to the Denny Moore to thin it out, so I can use a jet boil to cook it faster, then add some couscous to thicken it back up and increase the calories. But he called me out here when he says the carry-out penalty of the Omeal is misleading. If you're going to count the heating element, then you also have to count the pot stand sterno container for the Denny Moore and the jet boil fuel canister for the Mountain House as items needed to be carried out as well. So he's right. So on my comparison, one thing with the other meals, I had cooking implements, and this doesn't need any. So you have to include whatever you're cooking with. There's much lighter weight options in this, but you've got to include in that comparison how you're going to cook your food, how you're going to heat it. And Thomas Musso called me out. Thomas said, a good comparison, thanks. Something that could perhaps be looked at sometime, please. What is the liquid water value of such dishes? Just as one has to pack out the trash, one also has to pack in the water required for a meal, whether in a canteen or part of the packaged meal. While the canned meal appears to have a substantial amount of liquid already in it, the dehydrated one has to pack in fine water to reconstitute it. This is fine when going ultralight on a well-watered trail, but in dry conditions, I'm not too sure. This should be an interesting exercise. Take care. And he's right. That's something I'm going to talk about because that's one of the benefits to the Omeal. Let's see. I think I got one more of you. Joshua Cavanis commented. He said, hey Bear, another great idea is to take the pouch out of the Omeal bag. So take the meal pouch out of this bag and carry it like the can of Denny Moore. I have ate the Omeal with a side of rice and it made a great meal. You can boil the bag in your camp stove instead of using the military style heater in their bag. So that's another option. And I've done something like that. The Uncle Ben's rice sides that are similar in size to this Knorr package, I think I'm right. I think it's Uncle Ben's. I'll try to insert photo here. And those I've taken to camp with me, dumped them in a foil packet with a couple sprinkles of water and heated them by the fire to go along with my meal. Today we're going to try out the SouthWest style chicken. I wasn't a big fan of their beef stew, but it was edible. But we're going to try the SouthWest style chicken, and one of my initial concerns was how little calories these meals had. They just don't have many calories. It's eating light. So with this one though, it's a perfect place for a tortilla to make wraps and you can ramp up your calories. But if you're concerned about the calories in these meals, having some bread to take with you to camp to go along with it would be a win. But again, I had to call myself out because I take low-calorie meals for lunch at work. I like to take these soups and I heat them up. And this one's 190 calories and this one's 230 calories. They don't have a lot of calories in these soups unless you get the creamy ones. And sometimes I'll take along some oyster crackers, but for a light lunch, that's what I'm eating. I'm not eating that many calories, but then I have snacks along the day to have at work. And I do the same kind of thing on the trail. I have snacks all day. So I don't need a heavy lunch. And frankly, you probably don't want a heavy lunch and then to go hiking. Here's the meal. Here's its nutritional facts. Here's the ingredients. Here's the instructions. And here's the warnings, because this little packaged meal has a lot of warnings to it. So let's go over them real quick. And it cautions you that the food pouch, water, and heating pad will be hot once you get done with this. After heating the food, so risk of burning yourself is real, handle it carefully. And it says important, do not consume the water after heating, store it in a cool, dry place, do not use it on an airplane, do not consume the heating pad, keep out of reach of children, do not expose to an open flame, and do not microwave. So look here, here's the weight of the meal as it's going in your pack. And then you just need 3 to 5 ounces worth of water. And you can use any water, it says. So if you're out on the lake, dip you a little bit of water in the bag and go. Let's make it. It was really simple to make last time. You tear open this top part, and then we have the meal. This is what Joshua was talking about. Just carry this to camp. So should we see how much just this weighs? Well, we're going to do the best we can because I'm fighting wind. So there we are in ounces. I think we're teared out okay. 8.7 ounces, which is going to be 246, 250, 249 grams, give or take the wind, on just our pouch. So this is the heating pad. It warns you that it's going to be hot after use. Do not touch until cooling has occurred or you will be burned. Use as instructed. It's very clear. It says the heating pad is not food. Do not eat the heating pad. The pad is actually inside of this little pouch. We have to open it up and get it out. I thought someplace I read this heating pad was non-toxic, but I'm not sure where I read that. If I can substantiate that, I'll include this in the video and tell you where. Alright, so they also give us some condiments, salt and pepper, napkin, spoon. My goodness, it's windy. Now, a trick I learned from the Alpine meals that gives you measure lines on the bag is to take the bag and fold it at the fill line. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it in there, but it's going to give you a crease that you can physically see inside the bag so you know where to fill it. You don't open this, you just drop it in. Let's see here, do we need to add water first? Let's follow the instructions to the T. It says insert this into the bag. So this is going to take up some of that space from that fill line. And then I'm going to go to my crease mark. That's all it took. It just took down to here on my 700 ml Life Water bottle. Alright, so I'll start timing once I see steam come out of the hole. Well, what's the application for the Omeal? Where does it work for us? And it works where you don't want to have a fire, but you want a hot meal. Otherwise, this is a novelty. I don't know, I mean, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There's just other options, and this is $8. I can make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch all week for $8. But anyhow, it's got an application. Woo, there she goes. She got hot. Wow. When it takes off and gets hot, when that bag, that water takes off and gets hot, it does it like that. Don't do what I just did. Don't have your hand on the bag checking it. Just let it do its thing. It takes a second and see, it starts steaming. So what are the applications? I thought, well, I like to sometimes to be out of my kayak or canoe when it's cool out. A hot meal would be nice, and I don't want a flame in my plastic boat. So this fits the bill. Day hikes, this fits the bill. It fits the bill, like Tommy Musso said, if I'm going up to a site where I'm going to be high up, I'm going to be limited on hat all crooked, don't I? I do that. I put my hat on crooked a lot. You probably see it all cocked to the side like this on a lot of my videos. It's my one hand. I don't do the two-handed thing, so it gets sideways. So anyhow, I digress. So also where this is value added is if you're going into a camp where you'll be limited on water. You've got to carry all your water. Maybe having this is a valid option. Like I said, any place you want a hot meal and you don't want to flame. Water's questionable, but it counts. I think if this is dinner at the end of the day, I definitely want something to go along with it, because I'm not going to want this little light meal. This might be okay for lunch on the trail though, now that I realize that I carry these little light calorie meals to work all the time. When I'm on the trail, I take breakfast, 2 snacks, lunch, 2 snacks, dinner. And I don't usually have a heavy lunch. I don't want a heavy lunch while I'm hiking. So this fits the bill for lunch. All right, so you're done eating your oatmeal. You've ate it all gone like a good boy or girl. And now you have to take this back home with you. Now the water, we can dump out the water. But we got a spoon, a meal top, a meal bottom, a bag top. Let's see, let me wipe my paws and my snout there. Got a napkin, slightly used. And we've got the condiment packs that I didn't use. So there we go, that's what we got to haul out. Let's toss it back on the scale and see what we're toting with us. But then when I get home, I'm going to do an experiment. If you want to see the results, you can pop over to my Facebook page. I'll post it there. I'm going to go home, I'm going to take out the heater element and see if it'll sit out on the counter and dry overnight, because it's waterlogged right now. Does that change the carry-out weight the next day? Can you sit this out at that water, can you set that heater pad out at camp and let it dry? But you can look on my Facebook page for the answer to that if you want. My link for my Facebook is down there in the description. We'll go ounces because I'm American. So at the end of your meal, you got a 5.6 ounce carry out, or we have 159 grams, 158 grams. You get the picture. Now, I'll say one more thing, is an added benefit to the oatmeal is that's your cleanup. You don't have to clean any dishes. You don't even have to clean a spoon. It all just goes in the bag and goes to a trash can. How easy is that? I hope this wind noise is bearable. I don't know what that little piece of tissue I put up there is going to do, but I hope it blocks the wind noise. All right, well, we've definitely been in there for 3 to 5 minutes. The steam itself isn't bad, but it's warm. You can reach in there and grab that tip of the bag. You know who you are. I'm gonna set this to the side and let it finish. It's still steaming. I'm gonna let it finish steaming. I guess if you had something else you wanted warm that was sealed in a pack, you could toss it in there and warm it up too. I'm curious. I'm just gonna wipe off the top part, the water here. And we'll wait and see what the bag looks like. Yeah, it's drying. That weird white powder residue, I complained about before, as it dries, it's on the bag. I don't know that it's anything that's gonna hurt you, I just don't know what it is. Hey, Omeal, tell me, what's that white powder? Is it dangerous? Now, I guess in bear fashion here for a comparable meal, we're still recording, we'll put it in the blue bowl. Should we see what it looks like in the bag first? Now that's probably enough to make 2 wraps. So there we go, there's chicken, rice, beans, peppers. All right, well let's taste test it. See if I like this any better than the beef stew. I'll give them this, they didn't chintz out on the spoon too much. It's enough of a spoon to be hardy enough to hold up to eating. It's not like those Chinese takeout spoons. Let's see, we'll get a little bit of everything on the spoon. You know what? It's okay. I'm not mad at this. Got a little spice to it. Let's see. What was my Bear Paw rating? We gotta go back and look at that. What was my Bear Paw? Alright, I've got a Bear Paw rating system. I'll put it down there in the comments so you can check it out. It's 1 through 5. 5 Bear Paws says I'd even eat it at home. 1 Bear Paw says this is what I'd be feeding you if you overstay your welcome. Okay, so 1 through 5, and it's a system I came up with. You can check it out in the description. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna half a Bear Paw in this today because it depends. I'm gonna go 3.5 Bear Paws. I'm gonna go 3.5 Bear Paws for a reason. If I don't specifically need a flameless solution to cook a hot meal, this is 3 Bear Paws. Now, if I needed a flameless solution to heat a hot meal and I needed to do it with a minimal amount of water, then I'd go 4 Bear Paws. It's not bad. It's a good little meal. It's a little meal, but it's a good little meal. It's all right, and it works. So there you go. I'm gonna say 3.5 Bear Paws depending on my trip conditions. And we'll see you on the trail.